fans out there anymore.
You know what? The Tennessee Titan fans are probably still watching this broadcast as we start the final edition of Adam Rank versus the Machine for 2020. I'm a little verklempt. I'm excited for the Super Bowl, Doc, but I'm verklempt because this is going to be the last one for this football season. But how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. You know what? This has been a really fun time. We've got a really series of great episodes, and hopefully this is just a prelude to a wonderful 2021 season where we can talk a lot about the games and hash it all out.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this as well. And, we had discussed this, this is something that we've wanted to do for a long time. And finally, just jumping in here during the playoffs, it's a work in progress. And, just being able to go up against the Machine. By the way, is the Machine, I heard the Machine is in the house. Can you give us a.
The Machine is in the house. Let me see if I can try and get a perspective. Let's see.
The Machine's there.
That's
the Machine.
In case you're wondering, my children carefully constructed that machine, which goes by the name Beep, I believe.
Beep. All right, cool. See, this is cool origin story stuff.
Yeah. So I don't really use computers or algorithms or anything else. I just go back and consult that cardboard machine back there.
Of course. Maybe that's why I've been kicking its ass so much. Dominating.
That was a softball.
A little bit. You know what? Let's talk about this football game, though. I know a lot of people are. I honestly, I think that this is going to be one of the better as far as matchups go, it is so good. It's such a good matchup because too often, we've had great games where we've had Giants and the Patriots, going back and forth, the Falcons a couple of years ago. But it's always kind of it's great because it's the Super Bowl. But this is a time when it feels like there's two absolute goats going after it. This feels like a real main event of All In or WrestleMania or something like that.
Yeah, you said it, man. It's like the GOAT and the GOAT's heir apparent, going at it. I mean, Mahomes already is probably made a case for himself to be in the Hall of Fame, just in 4 years or whatever it is. I mean, and yeah, it's going to be an incredible matchup. And the teams are also incredible. They both performed incredibly well over the year and in the playoffs. And yeah, it's hard not to get excited about this one.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too. I know that I'm more of a wrestling head than you, but it's one of those things like a passing of the torch moment, like HBK versus Stone Cold Steve Austin in WrestleMania 14. I don't think that the Undertaker is going to be in the Buccaneers locker room having to convince Tom Brady to go out there and do the right thing. I was also thinking about the WrestleMania match in Toronto when it was Hollywood Hogan versus The Rock. And the Toronto crowd turned Hulk Hogan, who was the biggest heel at the time, turned him face. I don't know if the 25,000 people who are going to be at Raymond James, if that's even still the name, who's going to be in Tampa this week, will they turn Tom Brady face? I don't know. I don't know about that or anything like that. But we do have some points about this. I wanted to get into the game, though, Doc. I know that you sent over some notes. What do you think are the main point? What are the two main points that you're looking at for this game?
Well, yeah, the two main things I could come up with is that Kansas City on paper, no matter how you look at it, their regular season performance, the most recent game in the conference championship where they absolutely dominated and controlled Buffalo even after they went up 9-0. And their stats on the road, I know you got to think about whether this is truly a road game or not.
Right.
You can argue about that, whether you want or not, but the fact of the matter is their performance. Oh, and their performance in Week 12 when they played Tampa Bay most recently has been kind of incredibly dominant. I mean, they have outperformed Tampa Bay in virtually every single statistical category. Whether you look at things like sort of the broad statistics, rushing yards, time of possession, that kind of stuff, or you look at sort of the more individual selective statistics. When they blitz Tom Brady versus when Tampa Bay blitzes Mahomes, on paper, it seems like there's no way they can be beat. So that's very interesting to me because they seem like they are really statistically the far better team in this matchup. But you look at Brady,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but Brady. That's kind of all you need to say, right? So the guy has been to, this is his 10th Super Bowl, and he's won 6, and he obviously knows how to make it, get it done. Now we've looked over the sequence of this playoffs, and they played the Washington football team first, which was a great draw for them because that team sucks. I mean, let's be honest. Right. I'm from DC, but I mean, come on, that was a great matchup. New Orleans, a ton of turnovers. Breeze played terribly. Green Bay, a lot of fortunate turnovers that got converted to touchdowns. Were outperformed statistically, but still came away with the win. Some questionable coaching decisions, maybe some ref, potential help there. And so, is it luck, or is it Brady just like making things work when it needs to work? Plus, a pretty good team around him, especially their defense. So I think that's the big storyline. It's like a team on paper that looks like an absolute juggernaut, and then Tom Brady, who always gets it done.
Yeah, that's one of the things in that, we've kind of found this over the course of the last couple of weeks, is that the machine is very cold and calculated and is giving the statistic reasons of why these teams should win. I kind of go more by, I don't know, I don't want to say necessarily narratives, but trying to look a little bit, not deep, not even deeper, but just finding things like it's Rodgers in the play. Like, I know that's a dumb thing. It's too simplistic just to say Rodgers in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not though. I mean, there's some real substance to some of those analyses,
Yeah, the only ones where it didn't work out was when I took the Bears over the Saints. I thought that was really stupid. I really do believe, I really wish, and I think the one thing that stands out to me, because over the divisional round on, the only game that I missed was the Rams and the Packers, and for me personally, I didn't put enough stock into Aaron Donald not being 100% because I feel like that was the biggest factor. I know, and I talked about this at the beginning of the show. If you're listening to the podcast, I mean, if you're catching us on YouTube, check out the Adam Rank podcast. There's an open, there's a 20-minute discussion on Matthew Stafford and some other things that were going on. But I made the point with Aaron Donald being out that everybody was just so quick to be like, well, Rodgers is great against the best team, the best defense. Look at this, and this amazing. And then nobody, like, not one person stopped to say, well, Aaron Donald's kind of hurt. Like, it's a little bit different. Like, come on, guys. Like, it's a little bit different. It's like if you're serving somebody a pizza and you're like, this pizza sucks. You're like, yeah, they ran out of cheese. So they're kind of, and I know that there's some that you make without cheese, whatever. Don't hit me up with anything like that. But you get what I'm saying. And so I felt like that was the only time that I made the misstep on that. And speaking of injuries, though, or at least like with Eric Fisher, like him probably not playing. I don't know. We're doing this on Tuesday, so we'll have a full injury report. Do you think that there's something, I know it's in your notes, but like, I know a lot of people are looking at that injury on the offensive line for the Chiefs and saying like, he's really in trouble because how well the Buccaneers front four or the Buccaneers pass rush was against the Green Bay Packers. But looking over the numbers, do you think that any of that's going to matter to Patrick Mahomes?
Well, I mean, I have to say, look, no question, it'd be better for Patrick Mahomes to have his full offensive line, healthy and ready to go. But when you look over the whole season, he had incredible statistics. Let me just look at the numbers. I mean, he had incredible overall season statistics against the blitz. He threw 15 touchdowns, no interceptions, with a passer rating of 135.3. I mean, it's just like, what, you got to be kidding. Like that's just like stupid. That's like video game statistics.
Yeah.
And even if you look back at week 12, they had let me find this when Tampa Bay. So
you got it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that. I did have these statistics. Here we go. Tampa Bay blitzed Mahomes. Okay, so in week 12, when Tampa Bay blitzed them, he still threw for 122 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Yeah. So, he's got this incredible ability to create plays on the run, moving out of the pocket. I think he's one of the most prolific passers, out on the run outside of the pocket. So even if Eric Fisher's out and there's a little more penetration on the blitz, the man clearly knows how to handle it.
Yeah, and Rodgers, was okay. He made a couple of mistakes, but Rodgers was still okay. And Mahomes, a younger player, a little bit more athletic. I think at this stage of their careers, I think Mahomes is probably a little bit better. I don't think I'm telling tales out of school to say that.
And certainly against the blitz, there's no question. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a very mobile quarterback, but Mahomes is in a league of his own. I don't think anyone would dispute that.
Yeah, and it seems too, if the Chiefs are going to be a team that just is going to go YOLO and abandon the run because the Buccaneers are really good at stopping the run, the Chiefs, I don't think it matters because they find such creative ways to get the ball into the hands of their playmakers, and not just Tyreek Hill, but they have so many guys, like even like Mecole Hardman comes out and makes plays, and of course Travis Kelce, one of the best, becoming one of the best to ever do it at the position. It just seems like, and again, this goes back to a problem with the Green Bay Packers of like why you're drafting your quarterback successor instead of going out and getting a wide receiver or somebody who's extremely talented that can help you kind of overcome these deficiencies. Like that, I don't think is like the Chiefs don't make that misstep. And I think that it's almost a little bit too much for the Buccaneers.
Well, and that's what I was looking at. So you look at some of the ways where the Buccaneers could be the dominant team, and like they're, I think, the number one rush defense over the course of the season. So you're like, okay, maybe they can stop the rush, stop Hilaire, Fournette, like whoever else. But yeah, you look at these performances, either the last week where Kelce and Hill both went for over 100 yards, or week 12 when Hill went for 269 or something, and 2-3 touchdowns, whatever. I mean, so they clearly, and then the way that Mahomes is able to develop plays and move out of the pocket and create plays, it's like, yeah, even if Tampa Bay can completely like shut down the rush, it just seems like there's so many other ways for Kansas City to hurt them. And those are just the big name players, as you said. Like there's other guys too, right? So it seems problematic.
It is. I would equate it to like trying to defend the Chiefs is kind of like trying to master your golf game. Because if you ever play, like you ever golf, like there's always like, there's going to be some days where you're great 100 yards and in, you're chipping well, you're pitching well, you're putting, you're doing all this stuff, but then you can't drive. Or there's times where you're driving. Like once you finally then you work so hard to get your driver down, and now you can't chip for shit. And you're just sitting there, and it's so frustrating. And I feel like that's what it's like going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Because it's like, yeah, okay, we'll go and we'll take away the running game. Maybe we'll slow down Travis Kelce. And then here comes Tyreek Hill. He has 300 receiving yards, 85 touchdowns. You're like, this is impossible. It's just impossible.
It's the old whack-a-mole problem.
Yeah.
There's too many. I mean, they are a juggernaut. They have so many weapons. It's just hard to imagine how, Tampa Bay is going to draw up their defense against these guys.
Yeah, you know what? And, it's just one of those things where you hope that the Buccaneers can, they've got it. The Buccaneers present their own problems offensively too. So it's like, I feel bad not giving them the credit for that. And that was really one of the things that I pointed out when they were going up against the Green Bay Packers is like, it's great to be able to stop Mike Evans, and Jair Alexander can lock him down. But there's guys, and Scotty Miller ended up being the guy who at the end of the first half had the key touchdown pass that kind of helped put that one, into it didn't obviously go into a blowout, but it gave them a huge advantage going into halftime, which eventually was too much for the Packers to overcome. So they're very even from that standpoint. They have multiple ways to beat you. So as we set this up,
question. Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Doc, let's just get down to it. Let's talk about like, what is the machine predicting? People like, they want to know, what is the machine picking this week?
I will tell you, but let me just make one more point to what you were saying.
Please do.
I think that's potentially the strategy for Tampa Bay is right. They actually have had a great offense all year. Number 2 in passing offense, I believe. Tom Brady, I believe, has proved he knows how to throw the rock. So a little bit, a few times over the years. Maybe your strategy is just to go shootout mode. I mean, do what you can for defense to like selectively try and stop what you can, but they can keep up in a shootout type of game. I would, at least they could hope to.
No, absolutely. And I would love to see it. What does the machine say? What does the machine say?
Okay, the machine loves the shootout because machine says So for all those reasons I just said, basically all the statistical reasons on paper, as we said, the machine loves those sort of raw statistics. Machine does like Kansas City here, 32-27. So a margin of 5, and the total is 59. So pretty
whatever
high.
whatever that means to people.
Yeah.
Take that information for what you will, but we're just making picks. That's all.
That's a lot. There's a lot of points. So that sort of maybe alludes to the potential for a shootout there.
No, I agree with you 100%. And I'm not doing this to block the machine so the machine can't pass me, but I legitimately believe that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win this game as well. And I have a very similar score. I have the Chiefs at 35, but I do have the Buccaneers scoring 31. And it's kind of like it's reminiscent of Super Bowl 12, I believe, which was also in Tampa, between the Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers, which I believe had the very similar score. I do think too, when you look at the way the Super Bowls have kind of unfolded over the last couple of years, that even though that we're looking at the high point totals, I do believe that the first quarter is going to end up being exceptionally boring. And it's honestly, because that's the way the Super Bowls have gone recently.
Yeah, they do kind of come out rusty and a little bit, apprehensive, and
feeling each other out. And I know that Twitter's going to end up blowing up and be like, "Oh, this was the dream matchup that we've been waiting for," and we're gonna.
Yeah, and it's funny because neither one of these teams are the kind of teams, like I felt like Buffalo, sort of had the mentality of, or especially Cleveland, like early in the playoffs, had a mentality of like, F it, we're just gonna like go out there and like throw the bomb, go for the quick score, like quick, whatever. But both of these teams are so confident in themselves, whether it's Tom Brady and his incredible seniority and experience, or Mahomes and the incredible weapons they have. Neither one of them is gonna feel like they need to go out and like do some quick strike to like gain some quick advantage. They're both going to be very confident in what they have. So I could totally see that happening.
Yeah, too. And, we've seen this from the Chiefs in the playoffs previously. They did obviously have a little bit of trouble, right? With the Browns at first. They were down 9-0 against the Buffalo Bills.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
The previous year, falling down 24-0 to the Houston Texans before they rallied and obviously won that game. I really do believe that this could be a situation where...
And down to the 49ers too, right? Last year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they had to rally. Yeah, they were down by like 2 scores.
A lot of rallying. And I mean, they're the team who can do that. But yeah, they go down a lot of times. So.
Oh, I remember because I was sitting there being like, Jesus Christ, the team I picked to go 3-13 is going to end up winning this goddamn Super Bowl. And I'm going to look like a buffoon.
I saw the freezing cold takes retweet. It's the year anniversary of 49ers celebrating their win.
Oh, no way. Was it? I missed it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love all the...
They were celebrating with 10 minutes to go or so up, I don't know what it was, 24-10, 24-14, something like that.
That's right.
You all know what happened.
I still felt somewhat confident. I know that I was dreading it, but I was like, God, it's the Chiefs, though. They can turn this on at any point. And honestly, the thing I'm looking at as well, and again, this just informational purposes only, just looking at some of the trends that have happened over the last couple of years, I wouldn't be surprised if the first half is a little lower scoring than people are anticipating, and it wouldn't shock me if Tampa Bay was actually leading at halftime. Again, this is just information for your own
information that I will take home for academic purposes only.
We're just talking. We're just discussing things here. We're just trying to break down this game. It's it's the last one. We want to have a little bit of fun and all that stuff. So I think again, going to be one of the best ones. Going to be one of the. I hope it is. This does have the ability. This could have the feeling of the like this becomes a blowout or something crazy. It is it is still technically the 2020 season. So there's a lot of things that are going on. Perhaps I don't even know who is it. Who's Jesus, Blaine Gabbert, I think, is the quarterback, the backup of the Buccaneers coming in and doing something crazy. Like, who knows, anything.
But you really think there could be a blowout? I feel like that's impossible with these teams.
You would hope so. You would hope that it's impossible. But if there's one team that's going to blow out the other, I don't think that the Buccaneers could blow out the Chiefs because
No,
I
I
just
don't.
don't. I could never see that.
They're too quick strike, too easy to score. Yeah.
But I could
But
see, you know what? Like I don't know. If things start going bad for the Buccaneers, I could see
I
it
mean,
just going terrible.
I will say those blitz statistics against Brady. If they get some good blitzing, I mean, he is the most immobile quarterback, this season for sure. If they get good blitzes on him and really force him to make decisions quickly, that could be a real problem. I still, in my heart of hearts, I still think it's going to be a pretty competitive game. I think it's hard to keep Brady down that long, but
Right.
that's kind of the only way I could see that potentially coming like a real big margin blowout type of game.
All right, fair enough. Well, you have our predictions. The machine is going 32-27 in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs, capturing the back-to-back Super Bowl titles. The first time that would have happened since the New England Patriots, led by Tom Brady, had done it. I have it Chiefs 35-31. Doc, any last words as we are closing out here? Any words of wisdoms? Anything you want to say? Because, we're probably not going to see you for a while, unfortunately. But what do you got for us?
Well, that's about it, I think, for the prediction. I mean, the machine likes the statistics, likes high scoring and the margin of about 5 for Kansas City, so certainly likes them to win. The one sort of funny statistic I came across, which is sort of interesting if we're going to think about the future at all.
Yeah.
So Brady right now, this is an astonishing statistic to me. There's a lot of astonishing stats for him, of course, but he has 91,452 passing yards over the course of his career, including the playoffs. And so I was thinking to myself, if anyone's going to go for 100K, it's going to be Brady, right? So
oh, my God.
Right? 2 more seasons, he might be able to pull it off.
I mean, at least next season seems like a lock, no matter what. I think that even
it's a 2-year contract, right?
Yeah, I think that even if he wins, he's going to want to return and try to go back to back, similar to what John Elway did, going back to back before he called it a career. But I could see Brady just being psycho enough to, if they won this year and the following year, be like, I'm going to go for 3. So I think you'd have to beat him to get him out of the league or something like that.
Yeah,
so.
I saw his touchdown numbers, all the other numbers, whatever. But I saw that 91,000 yards. I just couldn't even believe it. That was incredible.
No, absolutely. Well, very good, Doc. I want to thank you again for indulging me and playing along and having a good time with all this stuff. I really appreciate it. I'm glad we were able to get this off the ground. Thanks to everybody who's been sitting here watching on YouTube. We appreciate that. And, of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, it's a full podcast. You can go to Stitcher. You can go to iHeartRadio. You could go to Apple Pods, all that stuff. Check out the Adam Rank podcast. There's a full 20 minutes leading up to what we do here with the machine. So you can listen to the first part of it and be like, I already heard these idiots, and then move on to the next thing. But appreciate everybody who's been checking out, liking, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Thanks to everybody who's had me on their shows and stuff like that. So I can't thank you enough. And so that's it. That's all I got, Doc.
It's great, man. It's been a really good time. I'm looking forward to next season.
All right, there he is, Doc Ross and the Machine. I am Adam Rank. Thanks again once more, and big thanks out to Mitch Hine, the man who puts this all together. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and we'll see you. I will see you back in a couple of weeks. We'll start diving into more fantasy football stuff, start to bring in some other guests, and have a good time. Enjoy the game, and we will talk to you later. See ya. Keep smiling.